of the M99 corridor. There is some rotation within this thunderstorm, and the National Weather Service has gone ahead and issued a tornado warning for this location. We are again seeing this as part of this larger line of storms that's continuing to move into mid-Michigan this afternoon, and the active tornado warning ongoing across the area right now. And so again, this moving towards the mid-Michigan region right now, just issued just a moment ago by the National Weather Service, and this is why we're breaking into your programming at this time. Again, got some decent rotation here. It looks like it is moving towards the Kingsland area between Eaton Rapids and Potterville at 1:43 on this Wednesday afternoon. Once again, continuing to track this situation for you as it unfolds. This large line of thunderstorms along a cold front, which is formed today, continues to track across mid-Michigan. We have had eyes on it all day. Your First Alert Weather Team's got team coverage here, multiple members of our weather team keeping an eye on this to keep you and your family safe. Again, lots of within the storm velocity here ongoing. We're continuing to see portions of this thunderstorm that have some rotation, and this one tornado warned at this time, moving into the greater Lansing area. Now, this warning is extending out through the city of Lansing at this time. It clips the city of Mason here on the south side of that warning line, and it also goes through Wheatfield Township and off towards Okemos and Williamston. Other cities like Holt in our mid-Michigan area are seeing the rotation as we go throughout this time frame. And once again, this is an active situation with a tornado warning that has been issued. I don't believe we have direct confirmation yet of if anything is on the ground, but it is a tornado warned storm at this time. Now we're talking at hailstone again are going on at this time as well. Large hail being reported in this region, and right now again this is in the area just between Charlotte, Potterville, and Eaton Rapids. Off in that direction is where this thunderstorm is at this time. Again, continuing to move through mid-Michigan, and so we've got eyes on it here once again on this system as it continues to move through. So we'll stop and take a peek here. Once again, you can see on radar here we're continuing to observe this area. It's moving towards the south side of Lansing, and so that's the direction that we've got going right now. Very large possible hail core with this storm. We've got, of course, some very strong gusty winds that have met severe criteria. And again, the severe thunderstorm warning has now dropped a tornado warning across parts of mid-Michigan. And again, this is the location where we've got it. We'll back out here, give you a little bit of a wider view at the ongoing threat. Once again, we've got this large line of thunderstorms. It's had a couple of thunderstorm warnings that have been associated with it. However, we are keeping our eyes in particular on this one right now, which is tornado warned. And so there's a couple of different things that you can do, a couple places that you want to go in the event of anything like this that is taking place. So, of course, all over all of our sky cams, we've got a lot going on, showing you several different things. We'll try to get to each of them here to show you what some of the conditions look like around mid-Michigan. Again, got very dark skies all across the area. We're going to search them now to see if we can see anything that's going on out there. Of course, lots of rain falling where this system is. A lot of our mid-Michigan locations you can see on the Skycam now are really not showing anything at this time, any rain falling. But looking towards the west, you can certainly see where the strong storms are taking place. So we'll get you back here quickly to the radar, which once again has become active this afternoon with that tornado warning that is currently ongoing across mid-Michigan. We've got some information here. So we've got from our First Alert meteorologist, Colton Sikoraki, reporting he's got some eyes on the storm out there right now. There's nothing on the ground. He says lots of scud clouds, which is kind of a menacing looking cloud that appears like it is a funnel coming from beneath the system. And so that's a report from our First Alert meteorologist, Colton Sikoraki, at this time, who's out looking towards that storm. So no visible funnel as far as what he can tell outside right now. However, there is some significant rotation with this storm. It's producing severe level wind gusts, and it also is again producing some large hail in some spots. And so we are continuing to track this. Of course, even if there is no funnel on the ground at this time, it does not mean that a rotating thunderstorm that is tornado warned like this cannot put one down. And so it is something we are continuing to monitor very closely as this situation unfolds here at 1:47 on this Wednesday afternoon. And so once again, continuing to track this system very closely. I do want to add, once again, there is an ongoing severe thunderstorm warning for Eaton County and for cities like Charlotte, which are currently seeing some very strong gusty winds, possible hail, and torrential rainfall at this time. However, of course, the focus remains on this portion of the storm, which has displayed some significant rotation. It's ongoing again right now, heading towards the Lansing area. Cities, again, like Eaton Rapids, while they are in the cone here, appear like they are just south of where this rotation is and where the storm is taking place at this time. So you can see, again, cities like Kingsland that are over there, as well as the Potterville area. If you are in Diamonddale right now or surrounding locations, you're going to want to get to your safe spot, want to get to your shelter there. Again, as we continue to track this threat, because of course this is a serious situation with a tornado warning taking place, and so we want again to continue to provide that information to you. Now, as far as tornado safety tips, which we'll talk about quickly here and get you back to radar, these are a couple of different things that you can do within your home. The places you want to go are highlighted in green here. We have hallways in the interiormost room of your house, closets, bathrooms. These are where you want to get to. You don't want to be anywhere else in your home. Find that interiormost area away from windows. You want, if you can, to manage to grab some things that you can cover yourself with, whether that's couch cushions or other materials that you can protect yourself with in the event that you do have anything come into the home. Of course, hopefully that's not the case. The basement, of course, is the best place that you can be. You want to get as low to the ground as possible during this, no matter where you are in your home. If you happen to be outdoors, of course, there's places you can go. But if you're watching us, this is where you want to be, in your basement or your interiormost room or hallway. You want to make sure to get to those places. This, of course, was part of a slight risk today from the Storm Prediction Center. We've had our watches, severe thunderstorm watches, out all day, and again now we are seeing the tornado warning that is taking place across mid-Michigan, and so that is what we are monitoring right now. And again, this storm continues to head towards the Lansing area. The warning does include the city of Lansing. It includes Holt. It includes Mason, Hazlitt, Okemos, and the like, all of those areas. If you are in those mid-Michigan locations, we want you to be able to get to your safe place now, immediately, take shelter in those mid-Michigan locations as this situation unfolds. Once again, if you are in the Eaton Rapids area, points south and west, you're getting this part of the storm with the tornado warning associated with it past you at this time, and so that is good news. You want to continue, though, to stay indoors, stay safe in your location and where you're at, but we are again continuing to monitor some rotation within this thunderstorm cloud. Now, across mid-Michigan, we're continuing to see a line of storms all over. We've got some heavy rain and gusty winds moving towards Jackson right now. In fact, just on the northwest side right now of Jackson, we've got a larger or a portion of the storm that's starting to swell up. There's no warning with it at this time, but that's another area that's going to be seeing some heavy rain, gusty winds, and the like most of the storms across this line. But once again, this area north of Eaton Rapids, and now it looks like just east of Potterville, is the area of concern. And so again, this is going right through the Kingsland and also Diamonddale areas. And so if you are in those mid-Michigan locations, again, we are urging you to seek shelter. There is large hail again that has been reported with this storm. We're continuing again to get all of the updates in here as this tornado warning continues to move across mid-Michigan. Again, we've got myself here, First Alert Meteorologist Andy Provenzano is looking at all of these things as well. We've got Colton Sikoraki who is out right now, and he has reported to us that he's seeing a lot of scud clouds. He's not seeing a funnel where he is at, but he is seeing some very heavy rainfall, and there are certainly some strong gusty winds in these mid-Michigan locations. So we've got some team coverage on this storm as we continue to help you through this and keep you safe as we continue to bring you the First Alert look at everything ongoing right now. Now, it does appear that this storm system associated with the rotation is moving towards the I-96 corridor, perhaps right at this moment. And so we're again watching this very closely, just off to the west of areas like Holt. And so, in fact, this is not very far from right here at our TV10 station here in South Lansing where this is taking place. So, of course, we're watching this very closely. I'll try to see if I can get a view on our Skycam outside to see if we're seeing anything. And we've got it facing off towards, it looks like off towards kind of the east right now, but perhaps we can get into the Skycam and try to see if we can make a turn here and try to see if we can find anything off that direction. We'll look at a few others across mid-Michigan right now. Again, seeing very heavy rain at our Farm Bureau Insurance Cam in Delta Township. Once again, got very heavy torrential rainfall taking place. Capital City Skycam, you can see some coming down there. Michigan State University just getting into some of it as well. The sky looks very ominous over Mason, even though it is still dry at this time. Now, it does appear that we're going to continue to see this storm track towards, again, the Lansing area, the Holt area, other portions of mid-Michigan moving forward here. And again, this is a tornado-warned thunderstorm that is taking place, all part of a larger severe thunderstorm complex that is warned right now in Eaton County. But Eaton and Ingham counties are currently, again, both warned across mid-Michigan at this time. Again, we are continuing to see that area, very heavy torrential rainfall, strong gusty winds, and we're monitoring it all right now as we continue to track this threat. If you are towards the MLK portion of M99 right there at the intersection of that and I-96, that appears to be where we have got some of the heaviest rainfall. It's also where we're seeing some of the hailstones that are taking place. And also, again, that's the area of most concern right now within that tornado warning that is still ongoing here at 1:53 p.m. on this Wednesday, April 17th. Once again, we've got this right between the Dimondale and Holt area. It has gone through the Kingsland area, moving almost directly towards downtown Lansing at this time. And so that's what we're tracking, again, very closely here as we go throughout these next several hours today. Of course, mid-Michigan's been experiencing heavy rain. We're just getting into some of it on the rooftops here at the station here at TV10, which is just off to the east of where the heaviest returns are here on our satellite and radar. And once again, it looks like that area of most concern is moving up the M99 corridor there. MLK is crossing I-96 and is moving towards the downtown Lansing area in mid-Michigan. And so again, we are continuing to cover this very closely moving forward. Once again, we are continuing to keep a very close eye on what is happening here. Again, we've got some areas here where you can see the potential for hail, which has been taking place with this storm. Again, so there have been some hailstones recorded across mid-Michigan, so we've been watching that pretty closely, and we're continuing to do that. So again, you're seeing some of the returns here, and again, very intense system, some very high cloud tops, and we are continuing once again to keep a very close eye, of course, on what's taking place. We've got team coverage here, as we've been mentioning, and this is a situation where a tornado-warned storm is currently taking place that, again, we are keeping a very close eye on at this time. The watches and warnings across mid-Michigan right now, again, we are continuing to monitor that as well, and you can see exactly where this storm is taking place. Again, tornado-warned system. And across mid-Michigan at this time, we are seeing the most heavy rainfall and, again, the hail and also the wind speeds right now that are taking place all on the M99 corridor is where the center of this is, crossing I-96 at this time. And so the tornado-warned storm is going to continue tracking off towards the north and east over the next couple of hours. We're relaying all of the information as it comes in here. And so, again, this is a particularly dangerous situation moving into areas like Lansing, Mason, East Lansing, Potterville, and moving through those places. You want to take cover now and, again, get to the basement, sturdy building, lowest area in your home as you're able to do so. So very quickly here, in fact, we will go and show you places that you can go one more time and areas that you can be. Once again, we're continuing to track this system as it moves across parts of mid-Michigan. And so that'll be what we are keeping our eyes on as we go throughout these next several hours moving forward, and certainly these next few minutes. And so very quickly here, wanted to jump and show you the tornado safety. So these are tornado safety tips that you can employ. Once again, inside of your home, you want to get to the most interior area of your home, be it a hallway, a stairwell, an interior bathroom that does not have any windows. You want to cover yourself with things like mattresses, blankets, couch cushions, anything you can find for protection. Avoid windows, doors, outside walls. Absolute best place for you to be is in the basement during this time. And so that's where you want to be. You want to make sure you're putting yourself in the best place to avoid any potential debris, which of course we hope is not the case. So once again, continuing to cover your tornado warning across mid-Michigan. We have team coverage across mid-Michigan here moving forward. and we are again seeing a tornado warning moving right towards downtown Lansing. And so again, we've got meteorologist Colton Sikoraki, who is out there at this time. We have also got meteorologist Andy Provenzano, who is here, and we again are continuing to monitor all of this very closely as we go throughout these next again, few minutes here across mid-Michigan. And this, of course, is a very intense storm system that we've got continuing across the area. And once again, tornado warning that is taking place. And this cell moving right into the downtown Lansing area, right in that general direction here just before 2 o'clock. And just passed off the area that is just to the west of us here in mid-Michigan. And so again, crossing areas like Jolly Road, Miller Road, moving towards Holmes and towards those areas up towards Washington as well, again heading towards that portion of south central Lansing and approaching the downtown region. It's at least on that trajectory. We are continuing to monitor the threat for large hail with this storm. We are continuing to monitor the rotation, which is, of course, again, why we have had the tornado warning issued across mid-Michigan. Large hail, again, being reported from this storm. As the potential is there. And again, places that are like Edgemont Park just off to the north of this right now. It's moving towards downtown Lansing as we continue to track this storm here just before 2 o'clock today. And so again, this has become a bit of a dangerous situation across mid-Michigan as we continue to move forward. So we'll continue, we will continue to cover this. We've actually got an outside look right now. You can see the wind whipping around right outside our back door here as this system has a close pass by here. And again, we are seeing some pretty intense wind gusts here. We've also got some very torrential rain, and that's right outside of our building. We can certainly hear it in here on the rooftops right now. And across the mid-Michigan area, we are again continuing to see this take place as we are monitoring the continued threat. And so again, you want to get to the lowest room in your home, an interior room, a sturdy building. This is what we always again talk about with these systems. You want to make sure that you are putting yourself in a position to be safe, most interior away from any windows and any buildings. And of course, this again, all part of a large line of storms that extends down through the state line into Indiana. It goes northward through Clinton County as well and further north in the state. Those storms had been previously severe warned today, and now we are actively monitoring this current threat, this tornado warning that is taking place across mid-Michigan. And again, this system right now moving towards the downtown Lansing area. It's again an active, ongoing situation that we're continuing to watch very closely. Once again, we have team coverage and eyes on this system. And so again, we have got myself, First Alert meteorologist Andy Provenzano here as well. And we've got First Alert meteorologist Colton Sikoraki, who is outdoors and about in a safe place from that storm right now, but he has eyes on it and has reported to us at least several moments ago that he was only seeing some scud clouds from this. He wasn't himself seeing a funnel out there, but we do have a rotating thunderstorm. And again, with a situation like this, it is possible that you could have a funnel that drops down with any storm that has rotation and has got enough of those criteria in order to get down. And so your difference of wind and really what you have with your shear across the area is the difference in wind speed and direction. One of the major ingredients that goes into any severe weather and certainly any rotating thunderstorms and potential tornadoes. And you can see that that is significant. This is the difference that we have between those winds. And so you're seeing the change in wind with height and then the change in speed as well. And we have got some of that rotation in this storm. Again, pretty ominous, menacing looking storm, of course, moving into parts of mid-Michigan. We've got continued looks at the hail tracks around the area right now, which again are showing that we've got some hail as far as what the radar is indicating across mid-Michigan. If the radar around the area again here is to be believed, we've got hail sizes that are approaching an inch in some locations, and so that's a good size and certainly can cause at least some minor damage, and getting pretty close to the severe criteria for the hailstones there being observed on radar. We've had gusty winds as well, and of course again this tornado warning for this storm again moving right towards the downtown Lansing area. We of course hope that it will continue to weaken as it does so moving forward. And so we are continuing to track this across the area. Tornado warning again looking like it has been issued for both Eaton and Ingham counties at this time. We're at just past 2 o'clock on this Wednesday, April 17th, and continuing to bring you that first alert look at our storm track, which right now shows a rotating thunderstorm, which has been tornado warned across mid-Michigan. And again, the greater Lansing area is the one that is right now under the most immediate threat. And so seek shelter if you are in a location in mid-Michigan at this time that is within this window. We again are continuing to track this very closely here. And so this will be kind of the case. We're watching this storm system as it moves across mid-Michigan, which once again, very intense one that has popped up. We've been monitoring this system. It looks like they have dropped the tornado warning portion out of Eaton County, and it is being warned out again for Ingham County moving forward as this moves towards downtown Lansing.
Yeah, Western Ingham County still has some weak circulation, but
yeah. So Andy's letting us know now. We've got circulation still reported in Western Ingham County. It's weekend, a little less organized. That's good news for us. It means we're not seeing quite as solid of a line. So, Andy, thank you for reporting in on that. So, First Alert meteorologist Andy Provenzano letting us know we've got circulation Western Ingham County. It is less organized and is weakening, but they are going, the National Weather Service, that is, to maintain the warning for Ingham County. There's a nice favorable environment that still lies ahead of that. We had that sunshine earlier. We've had high humidity and elevated dew points, in addition to the fact that now we've got that lift as the cold front moves into mid-Michigan with an already rotating thunderstorm. We've had those ingredients that we have been talking about all day long and even extending into the early week. When we first gave you the first alert about the potential for severe weather on this day, that is why today has been a first alert weather day, and you can now see we do have a tornado warned storm just after 2 o'clock on this Wednesday, April 17th, that is moving through Ingham County now. Eaton County has been dropped out of the tornado warning. However, Ingham County is still under it. You can see the heaviest returns from this right now taking place between Jolly Road and Mount Hope. Again, this is continuing to head north. It is just off to the west of the 496 corridor with 127 there. And once again, moving through parts of the Lansing area at this time. Again, we've had some rotation with this thunderstorm. We've had incredibly heavy winds that have been going on. We've experienced some of those right here out our back door here at TV10 as this has taken place. And we're continuing to just see some areas that are getting pounded by this system. And so we'll take another peek outside. Here at the station, we saw that torrential downpour. You can see that it has lightened up here in South Lansing, but the I-496 cam, again, you're still seeing some heavy rainfall over that way. And also the Capital City Sky Cam, once again, we are seeing more of it. So we're going to hand to First Alert meteorologist Andy Provenzano now. He'll continue with some of our coverage that we've got going here.
Yeah, the hail amounts and pictures now coming into the Weather Service up to 1 inch in size right along M99, Vermontville Highway area. That's what's been probably the most severe part of the storms. We've had rotation in all the while, but most of it's what we call elevated, so it's not reaching the ground, but certainly had ample circulation. So no reports of tornado touchdowns anywhere or damage. Wind gusts, just with the push of the rain, the heavy rains and the front, have been over 45 miles an hour, so severe levels got to go a little bit longer than that. But you see the strongest part of the storm now is basically rain and hail as it moves through South Pennsylvania. It's headed just southeast of downtown and will kind of scoot through campus, maintaining that heavy rainfall. We were probably within a half mile of the center of that storm here at the station, but all we got were really big, large raindrops, and I think that's what most of us are seeing across mid-Michigan with all of this storm system moving northeast. I'm going to back out just to show you that this is the only strong part of this line of storms. This is along a cold front, so the front itself was going to have storms today. What makes them severe was that little bit of sunshine that we had. The dew points rose rapidly, so we ended up getting a little more stronger storms here and there, so it's kind of pulsing throughout the area. Not going to last very long. We're at just past 2 o'clock, and some of the counties have already been dropped out of the thunderstorm watch to the west. So all of this will quickly move off to the east now. It's going at about 30, 35 miles an hour. The individual storms are racing a little bit more than that, like the one we are tracking here. It's the only one that showed up coming out of southern Eaton County. It was warned as a severe thunderstorm for its hail, and then quickly some rotation was detected on the storm system as it moves off to the northeast, and there probably still is a little bit of rotation. If we put our tracking on it, it's indicating that there's still some hail likelihood. Some of the hail has been anywhere from 1/2 to 1 inch, so it puts that in the severe category. Wind gusts have not reached severe limits, so the rotation indicated on radar prompted the tornado warning, which is still continuing here for about another 20 minutes or so as this system is losing its punch. You can see at the latest update coming up there right now, and obviously not as widespread or as large, as this system is basically headed to the 496, 127 corridor there, right along all that construction. Then we'll go just southeast of campus with its heavy rains. And again, at no time, the Weather Service said, have they got a report of a tornado or any wind damage. They've had a lot of heavy rain and hail, and I can hear it here still in the area here in South Lansing. All this moving northeast, but no reports of tornado damage, but there has certainly been a lot of rotation, and we can show you that when we go in here and look at the colors of the raindrops. It tells us which way those raindrops are falling towards the radar and away from the radar. The whole area is moving northeast, so what we do is we measure how fast the raindrops are moving one direction, how fast they are moving the other. So let me show you how that looks. So right here in southeast Lansing, the shear's not all that much anymore, velocity not all that much. When you put it next to the area of red going the opposite direction, again, they're not going to spin up a whole lot of wind here, but you can get a funnel cloud to form or even dip down as a tornado. If the shear was a lot worse, maybe about 25 minutes ago, I think it was, or so. So that is, but we indicate down radar still that there is some rotation here, and that's why we'll continue with this tornado warning, as will the Weather Service for northeast Ingham County a little while longer. The base velocity does the same thing. It's showing signs that it's starting to weaken as well, but it's still going into a favorable air mass, so that's our main concern. Is out ahead of this front, the sun is still out, temperatures are still in the 70s, so it can give it enough push and lift to get things moving. Behind it, it's all quiet. Temperatures fall back into the 60s. It's not a quick drop off in temperatures, but it does cool down. But that force of wind with the front is helping to lift these storms, almost like if you thought of a snowplow coming down the street and it hits the snow and the snow goes up. Well, the front does the same thing. That air hits it, forces those storms to rise up rapidly, and then you can spin up gusty winds, and if you get enough shear, you can get a tornado, and that's the rotation I just showed you going through the Lansing area right now, off to the northeast.
Yes, and that's exactly right. Now, we do, again, this tornado warning for the folks at home, again, just tuning in, does take place for Ingham County. It is going until 2:30 at this time. That's how long the warning will go for. So that's about 20 minutes from now. The warning is going out until about 2:30. And again, moving through the greater Lansing area towards cities like East Lansing right now, Okemos as well. Continuing again to see that. We don't have any reports at this time of any outages from Consumers Energy, DTE, Board of Water and Light, none of that coming in just yet. And so we are continuing to monitor that, of course, to see if any of those do start to flare up. At this time, not seeing any issues with that. So the warning once again until 2:30. And Andy, as we've kind of seen, and as you mentioned earlier, we've had reports from Vermontville Highway, M99 that direction. We've had some hailstones come in close to 1 inch from trained spotters. And so definitely some hailstones that have the potential there to produce at least some minor damage, as well as the rotation within this thunderstorm.
I think for most of us, this has been a heavy rainmaker and some hail for others. It's been showing a slow decrease of intensity probably since it went just south of Potterville. Rotation still in there, so they're keeping the warning alive probably for another 15 minutes, and that will probably be it. As this whole line moves east, though, do not be surprised if more storms become a little bit stronger again. You see, as you get into the Jackson area, there's a few storms going that way as well, and all the way down to the state line. None of these showing anything severe, but hail is a most likely category if it does, and occasionally a spin-up tornado, which we never really had a confirmation was on the ground, but radar was clearly showing it for a little while there. So it's still on campus, what's left of this storm system. Still some hail in there as well, and we can show you how the hail track was for this system coming up from the south. The strongest hail was when the warning first got issued, and that was near Eaton Rapids, Potterville. It's still doing some light hail, but as it moves off to the northeast, that potential for this particular storm is ending. So we are starting to see that change a little bit as well. There's a lot of storms down to the south. Even got a tornado watch for Ohio and parts of Indiana. That's where the temperatures are a lot warmer than they are up here. So we're continuing to see these lines of showers and storms move eastward. I think all of this is probably going to be out of mid-Michigan 3 o'clock, maybe 3:30 at the latest.
I think that's probably right, and on the right track. I mean, and that's good news, of course, for us as we head into a much quieter evening around the state. But again, this is all, if anything, aided by earlier us having the sunshine out for quite a while and having that increase of humidity with the south wind that's been driving some more of that favorable air in this environment into mid-Michigan. And Andy, as you mentioned, I mean, we had the reports that have come in have not been able to confirm a tornado at this time. However, as we know, with an elevated thunderstorm that does have rotation, you've got to keep such close eyes on it because it can drop down a funnel. Now, we have not had any confirmation of that as of yet, and so we likely will wait unless something is seen here soon after this ends up moving out of mid-Michigan. We want to be able to know what's going on with that. Now, we are hearing, so I believe we're hearing coming in right now, and I believe you heard it as well too, Andy. We do have some power outages that sound like they are coming into the area.
And again, you may have heard some sirens too in your neighborhood for the simple reason there's some of those power outages right where that heavy hail and wind gusts were originally. That's kind of when we transitioned from a severe thunderstorm into that tornado warning. So yes, there's power outages there. The strongest storm, part of that storm is now on campus. Looks to be mainly heavy rain. Temperatures have dropped into the 60s. You may have heard sirens going, and that's standard. And we talked about it in our severe weather special that aired last week, that the sirens are an outdoor way of letting you know what's going on, and it happens when tornado warnings are issued. So you may have heard those. It's not guaranteed you will. They're not designed to make sure every home can hear them, especially with all that's going on inside your home, but outside, that's for sure. So the line continues off to the east, and that tornado warning still continues for some rotation that's in it, but I would anticipate if they don't drop it early, it's scheduled to expire, I think, in 10 more minutes anyways.
Yes, it is, and I think what people may also notice by taking a peek at what's going on outside at that radar is that this is going to be the back edge of that line as well. We're already seeing the National Weather Service continue to drop more and more of those counties, which are listed in the pink, off all on the east side of the area now. Those are the ones that are still in this that go until we get to 7 p.m. Of course, we have the active tornado warning at this time, but eastern counties, including Eaton, not only no longer have a severe thunderstorm warning, they're not even in the watch anymore. And so if you are in Eaton County, really the coast is clear for you at this point, which is, again, good news as this storm system continues to move off towards the east. So Ingham County, no more weather woes for you to be concerned about moving forward here. However, we, again, still in Ingham County have got that active tornado warned storm, and with that storm motion, even if it does not continue along with the tornado warning here, it's going to be moving into looks like the very far southeast corner of Clinton County, at least heading on that direction. And so that's what we've got going on right now, again, continuing across parts of mid-Michigan to see that. And so we've got certainly a lot more to keep watching this, a lot more reason to keep watching this storm as it moves through.
Yeah, often the case is when you have a storm that's had some kind of rotation and what goes down maybe next to nothing again, it's very easy for that to redevelop as long as it maintains the same kind of unstable air mass. And you see them where you get a tornado, they weaken, and they become another tornado further down the path. So it is worth watching, that's for sure. All along that line, you see it's just generally rain for most of us, but that entire line of showers and storms still could do the same thing that one storm system did, and that is get a little stronger, maybe get a little more rotation. So that's near the state line, and we can go right up 127 out of Jackson and see the heavy rains, a lot of lightning, a little bit of hail in this, but again, no reports of any actual tornado touchdown. Sometimes in a case like this, there's so much rainfall, nobody ever saw it, and you go back and you find that you had some garbage cans and a couple of trees tossed around. So it's not to say that nobody saw a tornado here in the last hour, but certainly we have not had those major reports as of yet. The rotation still is going on now off east of campus, north of Okemos, so that would be heading up into even Shiawassee County. But there is no warning up in Shiawassee County. So that's a good sign. The Weather Service and what they're monitoring is saying that this system will continue to die a slow death.
Yeah, and we do have, Andy, another update here from our first alert meteorologist, Colton Sikoraki, who was in this morning and has now been out kind of from a safe distance following along with this storm. He has not observed really even much rotation, he says, but he did follow it through the Holt area and didn't see very much other than a couple of scud clouds with that, which again is not a rotational funnel, but just gives kind of the appearance of one. And so there may be some pictures going around that could be circulating, but no confirmation as of this time, again, with anything. And so apparently he has also sent a video that we're going to be trying to get on here if we're able to get our hands on it here shortly to try to show you. But again, continuing to monitor this system right here. And so it looks like we should be able to take. We're going to be taking the video that he has from Holt, which we have for you right here. Again, continuing to see this across mid-Michigan.
The scud cloud is basically a very saturated air mass hanging very low to the ground. Often looks like that's going to spin into a funnel, but sometimes it does not do that. So it's very threatening. You'll get a lot of calls telling you they're seeing funnel clouds. And all of that is wrapped in because of the heavy rainfall. And that's what makes it a little harder to actually spot a tornado, is the fact that it's what we call rain wrapped or covered inside the rain. You're not in Oklahoma where it rains, it hails, and then 10 minutes later there's a tornado, clear as a day.
Sure.
But here it's all kind of combined in one. By the time you realize the rain stopped or it's hailing, you've already had that rotation. So a little bit of hail here in South Lansing. I think that's what most of us saw, pea size, maybe a little bit longer or stronger. The heaviest was, as you pointed out a minute ago, down in southern Eaton County, up to about an inch of hail on M99. But yeah, this is all just pea size hail, a lot of rain, and no wind damage reported as of yet. But the scud cloud shows you how it looks like everything's going crazy, but in actuality it isn't. It's a good sign, though, that when people see that, to always be aware and take cover when you have it. Chances are it's just going to go by some heavy rains, that's for sure.
Yeah, and of course, this is that video we just saw of the hail outside the station. We could, of course, hear that on the roof here as this storm moved right overhead. And again, the brunt of it appears that it was just off to our west here in South Lansing. But again, that system continued to trek right along and move through parts of the greater Lansing area, including the city itself. And again, we are still seeing it on satellite and radar off towards the north, now east portions of Ingham County, or northern Ingham County there, and continuing to move that direction. And once again, we've had team coverage of this. You just saw the video we had from meteorologist Colton Sikoraki. Andy and I have been covering it here. Chief meteorologist Darren Rockwell from home also keeping a close eye on the system. So really a full team coverage event here as we continue to track this system, which again looks like the brunt of it now is just getting to the north and east of East Lansing and north of Okemos, and really going right through Okemos right there. Between there and Bath Township is where we continue to look at the most concerning area of this tornado warned storm, which again, that warning continues until 2:30 here. We haven't had a recent update until just this now as I'm speaking on it. It looks like radar trends remain down, greatest threat exiting the Lansing and East Lansing areas. So while that storm is still one for us to keep eyes on, it looks like the tornado warning via the National Weather Service chat says they are going to allow it to expire at 2:30. And so we will expect to see this warning up for another 10 minutes as that storm continues to exhibit the potential for rotation. Whether or not it has actually been able to put down a funnel has not been confirmed by anybody at this time.
So significant rain going through Jackson right now. It's the same picture everywhere across mid-Michigan. This is the Jackson Skycam, part of the Meridian Company group of cameras, and you see it's just a wet, and they may have been a little hail here and there. All the Skycams are showing things are a lot better situation, especially when you're west of 127, which that's right along the highway. And we can show you one more stop here as we look at right out of the back door. And all of the action here is just leftover rain showers, a lot of puddles. The worst part of the storm passed, I think, just east of us as it headed up through South Lansing and then on over to campus. Such we showed you that as well. Mm-hmm. So that tornado warning should be expired in about 5 minutes. I don't anticipate that going any stronger or longer than that. We're still getting a lot of lightning. That's obvious for sure. We can click that off so we can get a good view of what's left over. But there still is a little bit of hail, I think. I think we're going to find some hail that has fallen from Okemos, maybe northward between that and Bath. Those areas are probably still seeing a little bit of hail out of this circulation. Still a little bit there. We'll keep an eye on it. Remember, this is all traveling into an air mass. It's still a little bit unstable. It's been heating up for part of the afternoon. So as it goes further east, that was always the threat. And looking at the models the last couple of days, that it would get a little worse as it got closer to Detroit, where they're playing baseball and trying to put up a complex for the NFL draft. Hopefully no strong winds there.
Sure.
All the tornadic activity is further south. That's where there's certainly been tons of daytime heating. But there is action even all the way up into Mount Pleasant. So the winds have been gusty at times. The worst part is going to be right where we showed you. There are the trees down reported there at M99 and Columbia Road, which is just off of South Lansing area. So that whole area coming up M99 is where the storm kind of paralleled. In between Charlotte, Eaton Rapids, just to the east of Potterville, those are the areas that when that tornado warning was at its peak was getting probably the worst weather with mainly hail and gusty winds. The heavy rain itself, remember, when it falls that fast, it brings down a wind as well. Call that a gust front, so that could be some of the damage we're seeing there. But looking a little bit better, I would think, don't you, Justin?
It is. It's looking better. We do still have a few reports coming in. Our Seth Wells is in Bath Township, and he has been reporting here that we have got some small hail there. And so, again, this is a continuation of that same cell that has been tornado warned, that has been severe thunderstorm warned as well. And that's moving up now through the Bath Township area. And so, again, continuing to see. At this point, it seems like he is reporting small hail here and nothing that would be of substantial damage creation or of danger at this time. But as you're showing here, again, we do have, looks like some heavy rainfall going down just north of Jackson at this time, and the city itself likely seeing some pretty heavy rainfall too. But this is continuing up through parts of Ingham Township, a lot of the county, which again, a lot of us still underneath in that part of the northern side of Ingham County still in that tornado warning, which again we do believe momentarily here is going to be allowed to expire. The National Weather Service keeping close eyes on it, and all of us looking at this believe that it is losing some steam, losing some strength, which again is good. Hopefully throughout the duration of this event, you have been staying safe where you are, wherever you are watching us from. And again, if you are still in Okemos or you're still off kind of in that path north of the Williamston area up there towards far northern Ingham County, I would encourage that you still at this time remain, or if for whatever reason you're not there, get to those shelters, the most interior room and the lowest room that you can, away from any window. You want to again protect yourself from any possible debris, whether it's couch cushions, mattresses, or tables, even anything you can prop up in a place where you can keep debris away from you if for whatever reason a window was to break or you were able to have some debris coming into your home. But again, we're continuing to keep close eyes on this.
This is the cell that was the strongest back a half hour ago in Eaton County. Now east of Bath, west of Shaftesbury, into Shiawassee County, all moving northeast. As far as whether or not there's going to be any more circulation, we'll keep an eye on it as it heads east, but right now it looks good. If you have any pictures, and hopefully you took pictures in a safe location, you can obviously send those to our viewer photos at WLX.com. If you got video, that'd be great too if something went by. We have had some showing the hail, some showing the rain, and nothing showing any wind damage, but if you have any of that, we'd love to see it and share it with our viewers as well. So this is the area of the circulation, which doesn't look to be much anymore. I want to get in there and see if I can just dissect this up and see if we can't take a look at it in this manner, and showing you the heights of that storm system reaching way up there, almost 30,000 feet. And then you see these little dark red shades at the base of this where there might be some really heavy rain, but it's no longer indicating any hail. We don't see any hail core. We don't see any hail forming out of this system. So as we move it along, it is looking a little better, although that is still a lot of rain across mid-Michigan, and we'll continue with that for several more hours as the whole line has to go off to the east, that's for sure. The system is off to the east. When this tornado warning is expired, we'll be sending you back to local programming again, but that storm system still just got to go through northeast Ingham County. When it does, everything will be good, and then we'll just watch the storms. Now, as they go eastward into the unstable atmosphere, it's not to say that we won't be back again. You do see there is a severe thunderstorm warning for
Pierce Lenawee County down there?
All of Lenawee County for the next 45 minutes. As again, the storms coming out of that area are still pretty strong, and they're going into an area that can make them a little bit stronger. So we'll keep an eye on that. With a tornado warning, we like to just stay on top of it. I've seen crazy things where you think you're all done, and then you're back on the air 10 minutes later. So we're going to hang with that. The front is moving off to the east at about 30 miles an hour, so we're at 2:30. Probably 3 o'clock, all this will be done. Certainly if you have any evening plans outdoors or maybe a passing shower this evening, but I know there's a Western Michigan MSU baseball game. They'll get that in. Tigers played this afternoon. They're all fine there, so I think with the weather's timed out for any outdoor plans. When you get home from work, you'll be able to go back out again. Hopefully there's no tree damage or anything from that. But a lot of hail reports, and all of it came from southern Eaton County and went all the way up into the Lansing area and eastward. So it's out there. They're all out there. The rainfall is continuing across the area, some gusty winds coming with that. I would expect also these pink shades are the tornado or the thunderstorm watch. Probably those will drop. Once that line of storms go through, everything is good to go again. And that is the case. And I'd like to lose the radar every once in a while so I can give you an idea of what's out there. There's your severe thunderstorm warning way down to the south. And then you go northward. That's what's left of the tornado warning that's in northeast Ingham County. But probably not going to last too much longer. I don't know if there's any other further reports on it, but we'll probably see that disappear quickly here as we go through the next 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, the latest update still seems to suggest, Andy, that in about 2.5 minutes from now at 2:30, they'll allow it to expire. Again, still watching the storm because it has had a history of producing some gusty winds, observed a little bit of rotation with it. Again, no confirmation at this time whether or not it is or was a tornado, but of course it has exhibited rotation via radar. It's met the criteria for severe weather. The folks who were underneath it and went through it, certainly wherever that has been, know that it had that it was producing some incredibly heavy rainfall and all of that. And the only report thus far, other than those power outages we showed you earlier that we have seen mainly towards the Jackson area, is that we did have trees that were down on M99, as you already mentioned for the folks just joining us. At M99 in Columbia and Eaton County, over that direction is where we did have the report of some trees down. And as we observed live on the air not long ago, that was an area directly right where the brunt of this storm went through, and so not necessarily a surprise to learn that there was some sort of damage in that area.
We showed you the strong storm that was north of Okemos up to Bath, and obviously some hail reports coming in from that section not too long ago. The hail reports there, you're talking about 1-inch hail in Hazlitt, and if you get off to the south where it all started near Diamonddale, they were same thing, 1-inch hail there. So even though the system started to weaken a little bit and saw less in the way of hail, especially in South Lansing, the hail numbers there were about 1 inch or so, and that report 1/4 inch. That all kind of faded and then started up again once you got off to the northeast and through Okemos and off to the north. And that's where the storm is now. It's way off to the north, Langsburg area soon. Still could have some hail in there, although when I did a cross-section of it, it did no longer look like that was the case. It was just rain. So this is also a pretty good history. When we first had the tornado warning issued, it was right where those hail reports started along M99 and then went off to the northeast. This whole thing started in southern Eaton County, south of Eaton Rapids, but there was not any reports of any kind of hail at the time as the storm system started to spin up, and then we had the tornado warning. Hail is always an accompaniment, sometimes with tornadoes. So I think you pretty much don't get too many tornadoes without some hail when you're in this kind of atmosphere. So there's, how many reports? 2, 4, 6, 8 hail reports so far.
Several. So, and a very close follow of the track right there, which once again just kind of showing the validity to, again, taking cover, taking action, having that first alert. This is why we first alert, of course, Andy, to let people know what is going on. We've been talking about this for several days leading up to this event, and with us now turning the clock over to 2:30, seeing indications that it does appear that they're allowing that tornado warning to expire. But again, again, still a system, as you mentioned, that is producing hail across mid-Michigan. And at this time, it does appear that they have allowed that tornado warning to expire. So that is good news across our state. Again, still got a severe thunderstorm warning for Lenawee County that is ongoing, and that one will go until 3:30. But again, we are seeing, again, across parts of mid-Michigan, some differences. And in fact, does it look like we got a pop in Livingston there that just showed up? And so that's not only Livingston, it also appears is that Shiawassee to the north as well. It looks like Livingston and Shiawassee counties both are now just going into new severe thunderstorm warnings. And so again, just breaking in here right now, breaking news, your first alert, we have expired the tornado warning for Ingham County. However, we are seeing new severe thunderstorm warnings that are being issued until 3:45, just coming into our view right here live on air, and those go for Shiawassee and Livingston counties. And so
I wouldn't be surprised to see Jackson or maybe Washtenaw go under a severe thunderstorm warning. There's a very strong storm, a complex of storms there moving east.
Sure.
Probably pretty similar to what's coming out of Ingham County, so it's possible that area. Very strong storms right there along I-94 and then headed northward up to Stockbridge. None of them are being warned for any tornadoes. I just want to show you that complete line of storms. I can go all the way up to Mount Pleasant and show you that it's all east of 127 now, headed east at about 30 miles an hour. There are some embedded strong storms. Certainly could be some more hail here, and that's why these warnings are up for the Shiawassee and Livingston counties until 3:45. But I think as of now, we saw an isolated tornado. That was part of the why we had our first alert weather day, the fact that you can't get those, and some of us just got rain, but a few areas were under the gun for a little while there.
Yeah, and as a quick note to people at home, again, who have been with us, thanks for joining us for this as we track the storms. Any of the maybe residual showers we see this evening are just that. And so even if you do see maybe a little bit more rain working in from time to time before the evening's done, our severe weather threat now going to be off to our east, except in those places that, of course, are still right now underneath those warnings.
And if two of those storms have rotation and they do warn for a tornado, we will be back on for that, even for parts of Livingston County, Washtenaw, up to Shiawassee. People watch us there, so we'll do that. Now I think we're done with the coverage. If you haven't had the storms yet, keep your eyes to the sky. Get that weather app on your phone there from Channel 10 so you can keep track of the radar, and we'll keep you watching it too for the next hour.
Yeah, and absolutely free, that app, and so no cost to you. Again, thanks for joining us here on our coverage. We'll send you back to programming, but as Andy mentioned, if we need to, we will be back on.